A few weeks ago, I made this video because I missed a Photoshop update. Well, turns out I missed an Illustrator one too. And there were a couple of good updates that could be helpful if you're using Illustrator for fashion design. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I talk about digital fashion design software and communication on this channel. And today I want to talk about some of the newest Illustrator updates. Now, just to be clear, these updates were done in the May version. There have been a few updates since then, but the May updates are more significant for a designer. Also, keep in mind that these updates pertain to the desktop version of Illustrator, not the iPad. Adobe made several updates in this version, but I think there are two that are most significant for a fashion designer. Generative AI to recolor artwork and enhancements to image trace. Like Photoshop, Adobe has incorporated its generative AI model, Adobe Firefly, into its latest version of Illustrator, allowing you to recolor your artwork based on a text prompt that describes mood, color theme, or color palette. I'm actually anxious to see how this differs from their last update to recolor artwork. I'm using the same artwork I used in my last recolor artwork video, so we have an apples to apples comparison. To use the new generative AI feature, select the art, go to the edit menu, edit colors, generative recolor beta. If this is your first time using this feature, you'll get a panel that first asks you to agree to terms of use. But once you do, the recolor panel appears with an area where you can type in prompts as well as try some sample prompts. I'm going to try a sample first, and I'm using trippy disco lights. If you like what you generated, choose one, and if you want to see some other options, click Generate. If you want a specific aesthetic, you can of course type your own prompt, and I'm going to type Summer Night Sky. Once you find a color variation you like, hover over the thumbnail to expose the three dots, and from that menu you can give feedback, good result or bad result, which does help Adobe improve this tool, delete it, or edit the colors, which takes you to the recolor panel we're already familiar with. From here you can create even more color variations, save the colorway, and lots of other things. And if you want to learn more about what you can do with recolor artwork, I encourage you to go watch this video on my YouTube channel. So I like this a lot. I think the generative AI works a lot better here than in Photoshop. Perhaps the Illustrator team is just further along in their AI development. I can also clearly see the case uses and how it differs from recolor artwork tools that are already in Illustrator. Of course, for a lot of us who have an existing color palette to use, this may not be the most practical. However, if you click the plus, you can add colors from your palette that you may want or need to be featured prominently in the newly colored artwork. I discussed image trace in detail in this video, and for the most part, it still works the same way. So if you need some guidance on how the panel and image trace function work, that's a great video to review. So then what's different? Well, the first thing you'll notice when you open the image trace panel is that it's been slightly redesigned. The information layout is a little neater. But the biggest update, I think, to how it functions is when you select your picture to be traced, before you can access any other functions in image trace, you'll need to choose a preset, which wasn't always the case. And I was never a big fan of the presets, but I think they've done a good job updating them. So choosing one is actually more helpful than before. You can either leave the option on auto detect and have Illustrator choose the preset it feels will give you the best rendering. Note that you need to click trace to get to any other options if you want to edit the tracing any further. If you don't want Illustrator to choose the preset for you, click the drop down, scroll through the presets, and choose the one closest to the result you want. And choosing a preset will automatically start the image trace process for you. Now, these two are definitely the most useful for what we do in fashion design, but I do have a few honorable mentions. The first is one I just used to update my CAD for Fashion Design Beginner's Manual. In the manual, I added relevant links to some of the videos here on my YouTube channel. And normally to create clickable links, I'd have to be in a different program. But in the newest update, if you add a link to your artwork, which you can do through the attributes panel, it'll stay a clickable link after you've saved it as a PDF. Okay, so when might this actually be useful? Well, not everyone is creating a manual, but a lot of people are creating more designed resumes or even marketing materials about your brand. And you may want to include a link to your portfolio or your website within those materials that you're sharing with potential clients via email. This feature is great for that. Second honorable mention is the ability to identify fonts used in images and outline text with the Retype tool. To use this tool, open an image in Illustrator, select it, and choose Type Retype Beta. It will detect any font in the image and then find the closest matching font within the Adobe database. Now keep in mind that Illustrator is finding the closest match in the Adobe font database. So if the font is a little too artistic, it may not find a good match for you or a match at all. But what I like about this is that it's a great starting point. So many times I've had to create a graphic and the client showed me an inspiration photo and said they wanted a similar font. And a lot of the time I've seen something similar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And it took me forever to finally find the font. A tool like this would have been so helpful. My third and final honorable mention is the ability to export artwork as Webp. You've probably come across Webp images out in these internet streets. Webp is an image format that's made specifically for the web. The files are smaller than JPEGs but have better qualities, so you can keep the richness of a high quality photo without issues you'd normally have with high quality images like large file sizes and slow loading times. So if you are creating anything for the web, like for an online portfolio or website, saving your images as Webp ensures that you don't have people exiting your site because all of your amazing high quality images are slowing it down. And to save your file as Webp, you choose File, Export, Export As, and choose the Webp file format. There's a few more updates as well as some June updates, which you can check out on the Adobe website and go to the What's New section for Illustrator. But these are the features I think are most relevant for a fashion designer. And of the two more significant ones, I'm most excited about the generative AI Recolor artwork. The image trace improvements are more practical, but real talk, the Recolor artwork function is just more fun. You can let me know in the comments which you're more excited about, but I feel like I can already guess. Recolor artwork. Thanks for watching today's video. If you're new to Illustrator for Fashion Design, I just released my CAD for Fashion Design Beginner Manual that shows you how to use Illustrator on desktop and iPad as a fashion designer. There are clickable links to videos, practice exercises, and a starter library of trims. And if you prefer to take a course, you can also check the description for a link to my Beginner Illustrator for Fashion Design online course. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.